Welcome to another Lap of the World how-to video. This series aims to consolidate some of the practical information that you might want to know if you plan to visit a track yourself, as well as picking up some of the details that hit the cutting room floor when we put together the more narrative track feature presentations. In that context, and without further ado, let's explore how-to Daytona International's road course. If you want to learn more about the history of this legendary endurance racing circuit, check out our track feature video on Daytona linked above and in the description. Daytona International's road course layout was added in 1959, just 1 year after construction finished on the main Speedway's tri-oval. This 3.5-mile circuit hosts the 24 Hours of Daytona, one of the Triple Crown of professional endurance racing, along with a Le Mans and Sebring. Unique among these, it utilizes the majority of the NASCAR oval in its layout, therefore subjecting the endurance racers to 31-degree banking twice in a lap. Track aside, the facility itself is immense, as the second largest oval used in regular competition behind only Talladega. The Speedway complex has the footprint of a small town and is able to host 167,000 attendees for pro race weekends. Visiting this track is an experience both in scale and significance, given the tire tracks in which you're driving, as well as the intensity of the lap here. We drove Daytona in 2021 as part of a Porsche Club event. Other non-competition options include, but may not be limited to, the Celebration Exotic Car Festival, Chin Track Days, David Murray Track Days, Max Track Time, and Track Night in America. Here's the address. Plug it into your phone or GPS and you'll end up in the right place. It is impossible to miss. A note on arrival: every event we've been to here has used gate 40 for entry, but verify with your event organizer ahead of time to make sure you're going to the right place. You really have your pick of properties in the area, but we have first-hand experience with a few that we'll share. The Homewood Suites, directly across International Speedway Boulevard, was perfectly adequate for our stay and is very close to the track. There are also a number of other chain properties immediately adjacent to the Speedway. You could consider staying on the beach, in which case we enjoyed the Shores Resort and Spa in 2014. It's notable for having some trailer parking accommodation across Atlantic Avenue, accessible by a footbridge. If you aren't trailering, we also had a pleasant stay at Chateau Mar when we came down to spectate the 24 Hours in 2019. While there are definitely infield concession areas at Daytona International Speedway, the Fan Zone grills may or may not be open for your event, so check ahead of time. The good news is that even if they aren't open, you are spoiled for choice with numerous restaurants and fast food chains almost immediately outside the gates. As you'd expect, Daytona has fuel on site with pumps at the ends of either garage block. Check with your event organizer to see if they'll be open for your visit. If not, there are several options within 5 minutes of the gate. For parts chains, again, you have your pick within 5 to 10 minutes of the track. It should probably go without saying, but you won't be lacking for much at NASCAR's flagship facility. Events I've attended here have offered garages for rent and also utilized the large conditioned briefing room for drivers' meetings and as a central administrative point. Even if access to other indoor spaces is limited, the area around at least the yellow garages offers plenty of shade and places to sit. As noted, access to concessions may vary, and the museum hours are not necessarily the same as the track hours if that was on your itinerary. There are various videos available. Of course, you can now find our own Just the Laps video with some competent rounds, as well as other in- and on-car laps on the internet at large. Sim-wise, Daytona exists across several popular titles, including Assetto Corsa, Forza, Gran Turismo, iRacing, and others. In watching videos or practicing on sims, please bear in mind that the bus stop chicane has recently been changed, removing the grass and changing the curbing, so reality may not match some of the virtual interpretations. Now onto the track itself. Again, it's worth noting that the bus stop chicane has changed since our visit, so while the approach is generally the same according to some trusted sources, the reference points and how you approach the curbs will be different. But let's talk, we can kind of talk through a lap here. Coming into the braking zone, it's a little tricky coming off the banking, but you brake in stages and then you'll clip on that piece of grass there. Your apex is kind of halfway through and about as close as you're going to get to that pit wall. You'll track out to mid-track to get yourself flat through this section in good order. You don't want to go all the way out after turn 1. Coming into the first horseshoe, international horseshoe, you want to be kind of mid-track, and then you want to get it tight but then you want to get a late apex and get on the gas early, and there's more track, more pavement that you can use out here than you think. There's a little bit of an access road that you can kind of cheat over onto if you want to. Coming into the dog leg, this again is a late apex. You get through there with a lift, I think, in most cars. Coming through the west horseshoe, it again is a very late apex. Takes a lot of patience to get that turn right. And then into turn 6. You again here want to just maximize how early you can get back to full throttle, because this is leading on to one of the fastest sections of the racetrack. You're effectively on a straight at this point, even though it is definitely a turn on the map. But you can even see through the window there how little steering input I'm having to do to get around the curve, even going nearly 130 miles an hour by the time we exit. Coming up here to the bus stop, you'll kind of figure out where your braking zone is, and then I'm told that there's a photographer slot in the window, or in the fence over there, that's roughly around where you want to turn in. Now, I missed the entry apex that time, but I get the exit done pretty well here. And then again, here you're going to want to kind of stick low on the banking to minimize the distance that you're traveling, unless you're in something fast enough to warrant staying up a groove effectively. You will want to stay away, maybe a car width or so away from the yellow line down there, as that is the transition from the banking onto the apron, and it can be severe enough to upset a car if you touch it with a wheel. And then you're hitting your peak speed through here. This is all flat until you get across the start-finish line, and then depending on your cars, we're going to pick your braking zone, coming across here. Again, kind of clipping on the grass there, and then continuing out here to the outside before turning in again. A closing note here, the severity of the banking could pose an oil risk to some cars, so do your homework here. Likewise, other cars' stability control algorithms may not immediately come to terms with being tilted sideways. We saw a few modern Porsches pitch a fit with the PASM system, so again, do homework in advance and see if there is a workaround or ways to avoid this. Bringing the family is 100% in play for a visit to Daytona. Speedway aside, it's an Atlantic Coast tourism-focused beach town, so seasonally you'll have the beach itself, or otherwise a wide selection of related activities in the immediate area. It's also just over an hour to Orlando, Disney World, and the Kennedy Space Center in case you need more leverage for even the most disinterested significant other or family member to tag along. We've covered most of the bases, but one thing that I will say is it is probably worth splurging on the garage if they're available at your event. Between Florida's climate and sometimes temperamental weather, the shade and/or dry space in which to park up or work on your car will be entirely worth the extra cost. Thank you then for watching How To Daytona. Hopefully this has been helpful if you plan to visit this legendary speedway yourself. Thanks to the Porsche Club and the staff at Daytona for making our own experience there fun and stress-free. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please remember to leave a like, comment with any suggestions that we may have missed, and consider subscribing. Until next time though, I'm Richard, this is Lap of the World, and we'll see you in the next video, if not at the track.